Welcome to Ladies of Another View on Beck. I am Mary, and I'm joined today by Carmen and Jan. And we have a dude in the studio, not just any dude, but we have Luke Little, and he is from the University of Mary. He played football out there. And you are being drafted for the NFL, or his name's in the hat. But before we talk to him, we also have a couple Bucks players coming later in the show. And then we're going to also touch on a few hot topics for the news that's going on right now, because we don't want to leave you hanging. There's so much going on. But before that, I know there's a lot of befores in this, right? We want you to know that the Bucks are playing down at the Civic Center this weekend, 3:05 on Sunday. It is co-op night, so go out, support your co-ops, and go to the Bucks game. And along with that, be aware of the weather, because we are expecting up to over an inch and a half of rain, and you can find that on the Beck weather app. Just right here in central North Dakota, lots of rain coming our way. Yeah. So, without further ado, Luke, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
It's great to have you here. You know, it's kind of a big deal. You know, you played for University of Mary, and you are now being considered for the NFL. Tell us your story.
Yeah, it's been a wild one for sure. It's not really, you know, something I thought about a whole lot growing up, or really, you know, even these last few years, because it just doesn't really happen that often around here. And so, you know, in these last couple of weeks, I was kind of thinking back about, you know, when you're younger and they give you like those sheets when you're in elementary school, and they say, you know, what's your favorite hobby? What's your favorite video game? What do you want to be when you grow up? And, you know, every kid playing football growing up, you put NFL player. Well, even at that age, you kind of, you know, it might not be the most realistic thing in the world, but now here I am, and it's a realistic possibility. And to think, you know, back then and even a few years ago where I was and to where I am now, I mean, it's been an incredible journey, and I can't wait to see what's next.
Great. So what changed as far as when you were playing earlier days, and then I think you had a kind of a turning point at some point with how you were playing, what you were putting into the sport, that kind of thing. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. You know, growing up, I was never a tremendous athlete. I mean, I loved the game. I played it as long as I can remember, but I just wasn't one of those guys really growing up. But, you know, I love the game anyway. And I think it really started to turn before my senior season of football. You know, going into my senior year, I hadn't really done a whole lot, hadn't really played at the varsity level or anything. But, you know, I knew I just wanted to be the best player that I could be, you know, thinking it was going to be my last time ever playing football. And so I figured, you know, why not be better than what I have been in the past, I guess. And it just kind of took off from there. I did some good things my senior season, and then all of a sudden I got the opportunity to come play football at Mary, which I had never anticipated at that point. And slowly but surely things started to develop there. You know, had some injuries here and there. We were definitely a rebuilding program, so the success in the early years wasn't quite there, but I think that's kind of what allowed things to kind of jumpstart this season, was just the continued work and time and effort that we all put in. And, you know, it wasn't something that just happened overnight. It was kind of just a process that slowly matured and got me to where I am now.
Right. So for those that haven't followed your career thus far, did you always play the same position? Did you start out in one area, move to another?
So I've always played some sort of either receiver or tight end. Kind of went back and forth in high school. My junior year I did play tight end, didn't actually play tight end, but I was at the tight end position. And then senior year I told my coach, you know, I want to play receiver. Wanted to go back to that and kind of make the most of that for my last season. And then played primarily receiver my first 3 years at Mary. And then Bagnell told me this last season that, you know, you're still going to play receiver, but we want you to do a little bit of both. And I had some, you know, hesitation towards that initially, but once I kind of bought into it and realized the benefits that could have for my game and for our team and our offense as a whole, I loved it. And it was awesome getting to move around the field, do some different things, and just add into the versatility of my game.
So speaking of Coach Bagnell, we had offered for him to be here, and he couldn't make it. But we do have a quote from him about you. It says, with Luke, you're going to get a guy that's committed, a guy that works extremely hard, a guy that shows up on time, a guy that's never going to be a distraction or cause problems, a good leader. Those are the types of people teams want in their buildings, Bagnell said. Football-wise, he offers a lot of versatility. He's smart, he picks up the concepts quickly, he's physical, and showed, and he showed at his pro day he has the athleticism you need to compete at that level. I'm stuttering today. I'm sorry, too much coffee before the show. But anyway, he spoke so highly of you that you're just out there. You sound like an all-American kid, like the son that we would all love to have. I mean, what gives you that drive? What makes you do that?
It's funny that he says that because, I have a lot to thank him for as far as my mindset and everything goes too, because he's made a tremendous impact on my just ability to push through that adversity and, keep the end goal in mind. One thing that he always talked about all year long was, have your goals, have things in mind that you want to do, but how are you changing your habits and what are the steps that you're putting forth for yourself to get to those goals? And, that's something I like to think that I had a strong work ethic before that, but you don't really necessarily visualize the different things that you need to do to get to where you want to go. You might, kind of have that goal and then you just kind of do what you do and then hope that you get there. But he kind of helped me take that next step and kind of push myself to the next level. But as far as, just kind of doing the right thing, that's just kind of how I've been raised. And, over time I've seen the benefits of applying yourself and really committing yourself to the things that you want. And it started with football, and so I really have football to thank for that mindset. And over time, I've just kind of started to apply that to really all of my life. And now everything that I do, I just want to be the best version of myself.
That's great.
So,
we have another quote from the response. I wanted to show that to our viewers. This was in the Bismarck Tribune. This is where we got them from. He said, "It definitely helped me," Little said of his pro day performance. "Coming from a D2, you have to show that you have the necessary athletic ability. It's great to have desire, commitment, and willingness to do anything, but there's sort of a baseline of athleticism you need to meet. I think I did that." So that was a kind of a neat quote as far as, because the D2 school, you're not always looked at as closely as a D1 school.
right.
So
And
interesting.
the pro day, maybe you can tell us a little bit about that for the viewers who don't know what that is. Can you go into that?
Yeah, so for any of you that do watch the pre-draft kind of process, the combine's like the big version of that. So the NFL combine, that's where all the top prospects go, all the NFL scouts go, and that's kind of broadcast. It's a big event. A pro day happens at a majority of Division I universities, if they do have some pro prospects, and you essentially do all the same drills, really just to test your speed, your size, athleticism, see how you move. Scouts just kind of want to see you in person. They've seen your film a million times, I'm sure, but they want to see you face to face, if they have any questions for you afterwards, and then just kind of see what your actual numbers are, because you could look fast on the field and you're not, you could look slow on the field but you're not, and so that kind of gives them a concrete answer of what you're capable of.